come all the way from Europe. I'm from Macedonia, and I'm having two quick questions about you. My first one is, have you ever been injured by any stunts, like when you were filming something? And my second question, and this is on behalf of my friend, have you ever been offended by one of the Chuck Norris facts? And I just got your book today, so I was really excited.
Can we get a signature? Can we get an autograph?
Oh yeah, I have. But nothing to the point where I've had my hand broken and my nose broke a couple times, but nothing really serious.
Let me say something to that effect. If he gets injured, we don't work. Okay, so we really don't want him to get injured.
Oh yeah, right. Tell me about when I almost got my nose blown off.
I know, that was me. I know.
Yeah, I was doing a scene on Missing in Action.
Missing in Action, yeah. And the stuntman who I had he was a new guy. We call him Beckernecks, and he wasn't like getting the shot. He wasn't getting the shot, and he kept shooting the gun. And he wasn't getting the shot. So I jumped in the car and kicked the door off, and he and I were driving 100 miles.
Well, there were squibs on the side of the wall there, and I thought, man, those are awful close. Well, when the squibs went off, it took off a chunk of my nose and all around my eye, and so I had to put a plastic nose on to shoot the scenes for like a week, because the tip of my nose was gone.
My brother had a real warm affection for me that day.
Yeah, I did. When I got out of that truck, I was not a happy camper.
How about my second question that I asked you?
Yes.
Have you ever been offended by any Chuck Norris jokes? And by the way, you're the biggest star in Macedonia, so my God.
Oh, thank you. Well, interesting about, I don't know how you know about these Chuck Norris facts that are floating around, but they've been going for like 5 years now.
Tell me your favorite.
And about 5 years ago, on the computer, three of them, came and Gina says, honey, come look at these. So I went and read the three Chuck Norris facts. I think, hey, these are pretty funny, and then I said, well, that'll last a week. Anyway, the college kids gravitated to it, and it became a phenomenon within the universities and the colleges. Then it filtered down to the high school, and then down to the middle school, and then it went global. And then the military picked up on it, and that's how I actually got to Iraq. I get a call from a General Neller. He says, Chuck, the troops are driving me crazy. He says, these Chuck Norris facts are on the commodes, on the tanks, on the SUVs, on everything over here, these Chuck Norris facts. And he says, they really would like to have you over there. And I said, well, I would like to go, but I don't want to do a typical USO tour. That's where you get up on stage and you sway. I said, if I can go over and mingle with the troops, and be able to take pictures and shake their hand, and go to places, camps and bases where most celebrities don't go. I said, then I would like to go over there. So I did. I went over a few years ago, and I went around to 11 different camps and bases and shook hands and took pictures of about 17,000 troops.
Shook hands with 17,000 troops.
And then I went over the following year, and I went to 17 different camps and bases and shook hands with over 20,000. But I tell you, it was one of the greatest experiences of my life, even though it was really a tough, wearing 80-pound flak jackets and getting in and out of the helicopters and flying. And we're going across one place it's called Death Valley. And as I'm in the helicopter, and I've got the headphones on, and I'm talking to the pilots, and all of a sudden they start going like this. And I go, hey, I said, what's going on, guys? He says, well, this is where the insurgents try to shoot us down, so we try to do evasive maneuvers here. I said, well, keep maneuvering. But anyway, everyone asks me, well, what is your favorite Chuck Norris fact? Every time I take a hand with somebody, a troop over there, I said, golly, I don't know. There's 600,000 of them out there, And so that's why I wound up doing that book. I thought, well, let me figure out the 101 favorite ones that I like, and then I told stories, behind each fact. I have to tell you one story because this goes back in the 60s when I was a young guy, and I just won the world title, and my attorney friend, who had saved me, because I had no money in those days, and so he'd help me out legally if things came up, was going to defend a man who he got caught with his wife. And the man he caught was a black belt in the martial arts. And he got his gun and shot the martial artist, killed him. So anyway, he's defending this guy, and he says, Chuck, would you go up there and say that a martial artist has a chance against a guy with a gun? I go, oh my gosh, and I said, well, I will, because I owe him so much. I mean, he's helped me out in many different cases. I said, well, I'll go up there and do what I can. I've never been in a courtroom in my life at that time. So I go to San Diego, California, and I'm on the witness stand, and the district attorney is really drilling me. He's a young guy, and he's really drilling me. He says, are you going to tell me that a martial artist has a chance against a guy with a gun? I go, well, it depends on the circumstances, how far away you are, and where the gun is pointed, and all this stuff here. And he says, well, what if I'm 8 feet away? I said, well, it's a possibility. I said, that depends on the gun, and he said, well, what if the gun's out my side? I said, well, that makes it a stronger possibility. He goes, get off the witness stand. So I'm in my suit, I get off the witness stand. He said, stand in front of the jury. So I walk over in front of the jury, and he says, bailiff, give me your gun and take the cartridges out. I want to see if he can kick me before I shoot him. And I go, holy mackerel. And I'm standing there, and he takes the gun, puts it down to his side. He says, bailiff, you say when to go. So the bailiff says, go. As you bring the gun up, I put my foot right on his chest. And he said, well, my thumb slipped off. Let's do it again. So we do it again, and I beat him again. I put my foot on his chest.
Never ask a question.
And so anyway, the day finished. I'm having dinner with my attorney. He is laughing so hard he can't even eat. He said, I will never forget the look on his face for the rest of my life. He said, you should have kicked him all the way across the room. I said, I'm not going to do that to a district attorney. But again, he came up with a legal term. He says, an attorney never asks a question he doesn't know the answer to. And I said, well, But anyway, that's one of the stories in this book.
Thank you very much.
That's great. That's great.
I guess the next Macedonian Chuck Norris joke will be don't touch Malo, because she just spoke to Chuck Norris. I hope you can find the book for me later.
I sure will.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.